Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis. I'll tell you what, last week, I normally don't try not to do offense all the time, but three teams really had a tremendous day offensively. We're going to start with this one today, Hamilton Tiger Cats. Now, I usually write up the stats on each team, and I wrote down their total offense was 458 yards, which is a spectacular number. But it wasn't, because that was how many yards they had on first down. They had 583 yards total offense. They're right next to each other on the stat sheets. That's an incredible number for first down. And overall, 583 yards, spectacular. Bo Levi Mitchell, 24 of 37, 450 yards, a 65% completion. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 4 30-plus plays. They really went after downfield shots. And why those are important, you're 5 times more likely to score a touchdown when you have a 30-plus play. And Greg Bell threw in 15 carries for 139 yards. So great scheme. We're going to break down about 10 or 11 clips. I loved what the Ticats did offensively, and they were tremendous. Before I go, please subscribe to the page, turn notifications on. It's going to alert you as we're posting new stuff. We posted this week Coach's Podcast the first time. Weston Dressler had kind of a breakdown and an hour talk with Weston Dressler. It's pretty fun to go through and talk to some of the CFL greats. So when you get a chance, take a look at that. But let's now open the playbook on Ticats Offense versus Calgary Stampeders, Week 20. Early in the game, real easy completion, 1st and 10, big explosive play off at just a real 6-yard concept. This is called snag. Spot. You have a corner route. You have a player comes in to sit at 6 yards in the wake of the corner route, and you have somebody goes out in the flat. So these are what I call smash reads or high-low corner reads. And what does that mean is there's a guy deep, and there's a guy there, and a guy there. So there's your triangle. And you have 3 people in a certain area of the field. So let's start right here. The deep player has 2 people covering him, okay, or in that space. So the deep part of the triangle is closed off. So now the quarterback goes, okay, what happened to the other part of the coverage? There's a player here, all right, and if this defender stayed on him, the ball would go to the out flank, the ball out there. But you can clearly see he's running out with the tailback. As he runs out with the tailback, that player's wide open. So easy read. If everybody was in press man, then you would take the corner route. So just easy high-low corner read, a little bit of movement for a big gain. A little bit of motion once again to a 4x1, to another basically vertical stretch or high-low corner read. DeAndre Smith, nice catch and run. This is just trying to occupy the underneath coverage. So there is a dig right here. Okay, there's going to be a post right here, or more like a seam. A seam right there. But this is the important guy. The underneath coverage is going to go out like this, and he's going to try to move this linebacker and try to get him to expand, and then you can throw the dig. Now, what's important for Smith as he breaks in here is you got to be careful in this zone structure that player doesn't run over. But all you're trying to do is get that player to bite the cheese and move a little bit that way. He does. The backside player, I believe that's LeBron, is too far away. Can't make the play. And Bo takes a 5-step drop, wakes it to clear, throws it. Nice easy on a vertical stretch. A lot of motion. Same play as we've already gone over. The first play that we looked at on this tape, exact same play versus different coverage, looks different. Pause it right here. We have a vertical player going up into the corner area. We have a player coming in and sitting down in the wake at 6 yards, and we have a player out in the flat. So this time, Calgary's in straight man coverage. So I called this before. This is a high-low corner read. But when you have clusters and moves like this, you add a man component, which is an outflank. If we can outflank the defense, and what I mean by that, you can tell the quarterback, hey, listen, if we outflank the defense, just throw the ball to the outflank. And that's what's going to happen right here. Because right here, man, man, man. And especially with the motion, we get this player too far away. And once all Bo does is recognize the player covering him goes inside. Once he's in there, the defender covering him gets picked. The outflank is there. So that's what Bo sees. Sees it immediately, knows what he's going to do, throws it for the outflank for the touchdown. So this is the exact same play, but versus certain coverages, it looks differently. That's why you throw to different people. If that player was sitting out there, okay, and that player was up there, this player, the ball would have gone to number 6 right here. All right, it all depends on how these things play out. Nice touchdown. Good vision by Bo. Early throw here. You have a corner out. We have Keandre Smith in the flat. So basically, this gives them opportunities to throw what's called a diagonal, where a guy goes from the field to the back hash. You have a guy down the seam, and you have a guy here. There's good play action here by Bo. And then he's just reading what happens. Right here, he knows that there's nobody in the middle of the field. There's nobody up here. So with nobody in that area of the field, if these two players stay and work this direction, all right, there's a diagonal running to that space. And unfortunately for Calgary, is this safety ends up too far. When the ball's snapped, the safety's on the outside of the hash, so is the receiver. So it's going to be very easy for him to cross face on him. And that's all Bo's looking for. He says, okay, if 0's right here and expanded and the safety's already pushed this way, there's that huge space I can just throw to. And that's what he does. Because they put this safety is just too much in a bind. If you notice, he's a zone middle player. He's a zone third player. They're really stretching that area of the field. Bo sees it immediately. Touchdown. Sometimes you just get picked in routes, and this is what happens right here. Trey Roberson gets picked on this route here. Robinson's able to separate from him as basically the deep player, LeBras, coming down to go cover his man, and that results in a touchdown. So this is what I would call Sally routes, where the quarterback's going to read the defensive end. So he's going to run into the line of scrimmage. If the end doesn't come to the quarterback, he's going to pull it and get out on the perimeter. So the attached tight end, I say attached to the O-line, is going to run a corner route, and they're going to send somebody in the flat. And if they outflank the defense, if nobody comes across, or if they're chasing from across the field, you throw that. Okay? But you're always going to look deep to short. And right here, Trey gets leverage because right here there's a pick that happens accidentally, and now Bo just can throw it to a spot. And when you watch it from the end zone, so as the end starts to play contain and then recover, so he's playing the gap. This is his gap in the run game. Now he's going to try to recover to Bo, but not enough time. Easy touchdown. One of the easiest ones they got on the night. This is what I call a middle play. This is great execution of a middle play. Got called into a really good pressure by the Calgary Stampeders. There's just way too much space on the field when they zone blitz. So what I mean by that is you're going to get a pressure here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rushers. So you have 5 people rushing right here. The defensive end drops out to be a zone dropper. The will linebacker drops to the field to cover this space that is handled. So unfortunately for Calgary, they're not going to have a lot of people in this area of the field. And the coverage they're in, he's a deep player. He's going to sink if there's two verticals. He's a deep player to this side. He's probably a deep player if there's a deep route. So Robinson's going to go this way and cancel out that player. We're going to cancel out this player and get him to flip his hips and move. And he's going to run into this spot. Let me get rid of all the other pieces. He's going to slowly run into this space, wait for him to cancel him out, wait for him to cancel him out, and then run to the middle of the field. And you can see that right there. So now, as all these players are dropping, he's already turned his shoulders. He's turned his shoulders. Now you throw the ball right to the middle of the field. And you can see Bo's already ready to do that. So this is what you try to do. You let these two people clear out the quarter players. This guy runs under to the underneath coverage and then goes right to the middle of the field. Nice throw, easy, big gain. What also hurt them is if you watch, you're going to see a zone pressure right here. Boom, boom. So instead of him getting depth, he's got to run to this space. He's going to get depth on this side, but that's just too much space. And there it is. Nice throw. That's a middle play, middle of field. Break the back, cover 4. Watch this anticipation on this throw to Stephen Dunbar right behind Adam Konar. And that's exactly what you're trying to do here. This is a kind of like what I call a read post where he bends into the middle. You're going to have a comeback on the outside, and this is an inside-out read. And as Konar's got his shoulders turned, Bo already throws it. He sees enough space because that linebacker's over there. Adams underneath Dunbar. The halfback's high. I'm just going to throw it into this window where he can catch it. That's great timing. If you want to play quarterback, you have to anticipate throws. And that's what Bo does so well right here. See the ball's out of his hand already? Right there. He's already throwing it. That's what you call anticipation of throws. You can see a little bit better from this angle. All right. That linebacker dropped this way. Adams already close to Dunbar. That safety's high. That's the space you want to throw to. But the biggest thing is you throw it before he runs into that space. And that's the anticipation you can see right there from Bo. Spectacular throw. Great play. Here's what I love that Hamilton, the Ticats did. They kept running the same plays. This is the third time I've shown this play. And this is, once again, a different coverage. And how it plays out is different in zone and man. So I've called this play already. This is the spot play, or some people call it a snag play, where the middle guy runs a corner route, the outside guy runs into his wake and sits down at 6, and you have a guy run out in the flat. And there's been a previous touchdown. It was man coverage. They outflanked the defense. It was a previous play. It was man coverage, and they hit this one because the man player was too deep. Now they're facing zone coverage. So if you notice, nobody's running with anyone. They're in zone. They have a deep player. They have an outside player. They have an inside player and another inside player. So as Bo goes to pull this, he's starting to outflank. Why? Because he can't get pushed too far. He's over the top of the corner route. He's inside the corner route. He runs with him. He now has to push to this one. But he also gets, a run look to start. So it pauses him. Now there's too much space between these two, and you just throw it to that area. So really good. What I love about this, the Ticats just kept calling the same plays, right? Let the quarterback see the same picture every time. Go through your read, throw what happens. What else hurts this is you're motioning 3 people across the field. So all this has to happen quickly. So really good execution, and I love all the motion to run the same play. When you get a bunch of tight ends in the game and fullbacks, sometimes you got to be cautious that here comes a deep pass. So let's count them up. There's a fullback in the game. There's the other fullback in the game. All right. They are going to fake a run. Quick action to a run, but this turns into one of the safest protections you have. Everybody is a moving wall in that direction. The tight end blocks in here. The fullback blocks right here. And after the fake to the tailback, he actually blocks right there. So you have a wall of 8 players that are all just going into gaps, and it's going to be hard for the defensive line to get through there. So that should give Bo enough time to throw the ball downfield. You have only 3 receivers. And this is Steven Dunbar. Knowing that there's nobody on this side of the field, Bo just takes the shot across the field to Dunbar. Breaks across, starting to run downfield. Remember, this ball got knocked and punched. Now, for Calgary, all they have to do, if they touch this before it goes out of bounds, it's their ball. But they didn't touch it before it went out of bounds. Let's go to this angle. So, again, this looks like this is a check that Bo knew pressure was coming. And now everybody just slides to their gaps. Okay, what I mean is the area next to him. He takes that gap. Fullback comes back and takes that gap. And for Dunbar, his job is to make he basically is just trying to make the defensive back think that, just got to make Kobe Williams think that I'm going across the field, and then he breaks across his face. Too much to cover when it's cover 0. Then he breaks away and gets the big run, but he's got to leverage the ball better. But great play versus pressure. Tim White gets a big shot late in the game downfield on basically a corner post. Gets a little bit extra play at the end. Let's go back and take a look at what happened from the concept, what they were doing. So he's going to run what's called a corner post. You're going to get a guy running a crossing route and a crossing route here. So basically what you're trying to do is, if you see people way up here covering the corner post, you're going to try to find this dig based on if he's through the windows of these linebackers. So you can see Keandre Smith coming across right here, trying to get to this space. Now the linebackers are deep, but the one thing I think Bo recognizes is that this halfback is low. So these 2 players are low, equal with one of the fastest guys on the field. So what does Bo do? Okay, quick action fake. He recognizes these players are taking this away. Well, there's nobody on the deep throw, so he takes the deep throw. And again, Tim White runs this. It's a corner post. You run it and you angle at this way, not because you're trying to beat him. You're going to beat him. You got to make sure you stay away from that player. You don't want to get too close to him. And that's why it's a nice skinny post. So the deep safety can't make the play. Then you make him miss. Big gain. So really good execution. You can watch it from this angle and see what I'm talking about. So here comes the guy coming across the field. But these 2 players are right there. All right, well then who's got the deep middle of the field? Nobody. So Bo recognized that immediately. Tim White widens the corner. I call this a cop route, a corner post, and then goes right to the middle of the field. I love how skinny he keeps it. What does skinny mean? Like I said, he doesn't run across towards this player. He just runs it up there. Great throw. You know, Bo was on point, man. He was throwing it great. We'll end with this one. Once again, the underneath coverage had a tough day, and Bo was seeing it and slinging it quickly. So this is easy touchdown. Steven Dunbar again. Very simple. Steven Dunbar runs a dig. Tim White runs an out. You're trying to widen the will linebacker, but the middle linebacker here opens this way. He opens to the hash, stays on the hash, the will expands. Bo just trusts that he can win that throw in the window, and Dunbar works downhill towards it. It's a tight window. It's a hell of a throw. Does it because he has great anticipation. He just rips it. Great timing. Great concentration by Dunbar. So the Ticats offense was on fire. It was a great game for them and great for their pass game.